Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the player ratings for the game between North and Collingwood. And I can now fully deem that we have gone full circle in the last 12 months, going back all the way to that North game. Fast forward to today. Yes, it wasn't a four-quarter performance, but I think we responded very well in that second half. We made some tactical adjustments with applying more pressure on the possession game of North. Could North play that kick mark game for 4 quarters was the question. The answer is no. The superstars stood up. Speaking of superstars, do we now deem Ned? Are we nearly there? Do we deem Ned Long a superstar, or is he just he's not a role player anymore? He's not just the bodyguard of Nick Dacos. He is doing more than the dirty work. He had a game high 15 score involvements for the game. 4 free kicks for him for putting his head in a hole. 4 tackles inside 50. That is equal with Jamie Elliott, who spent his whole game in the forward line. So for a midfielder to have the most amount of tackles inside 50, it just goes to show his work ethic and his just ability to stick tackles. 13 contested possessions, running an 80% kicking a disposal efficiency clip. He accumulated the ball as well. He seriously accumulated it. He had 29 touches. The only 2 players to beat him were the Dakai. 29 touches, 8 kicks, 21 hand passes. Those hand passes came with a lot of forward thinking. He is looking for the most assertive path to our goals with his hand pass. He is opening up the game for us with his handballing ability. He whether it's he absorbs a tackle, gets it going, more often than not, you'll see him take the ball and subsequently break or move out of the contest, take a couple side steps here or there, and then finds the best option, not the first option, the best option. And he knows he's capable of doing that because he has the vision and he has the ability to absorb a tackle if needed. What are we saying in the comments, guys? Elite inside midfielder. He's becoming A grade. He is our Crisp, but uses the ball better. Ned is an A grade player. He's a young Patrick Cripps. It's huge. For me, that's Ned Long's best game. 14 tackles as well. Just a quiet 14 tackles. I mean, Jack Crisp had a really good game in the tackle department. He had 10 tackles himself and lifted really well in that second half. Oh, mate, I'm going to give Ned Long a 10 out of 10. I can't ask. You cannot ask for anything more out of Ned Long's game. You cannot. Simply cannot. Seems so strong, Ned Long. And Peter says, I reckon best game yet incoming for Ned is against the Hawks. Next up, we have, let's talk about, I think Ed Allen has been spoken about quite a bit. Let's see. Yep, Ed Allen. Geez, Ed Allen's going to cause some headaches at selection this week. You know what? No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Ed Allen's going to keep his spot, for sure. He's finding a bit of stability in the team with a few players in and out, managed, injured, whatever it may be, what have you. 24 touches, 8 kicks, another really good player who is a great exponent of the ball by way of handballing. He had 8 tackles as well, so the pressure was there, 1 goal assist. Spent most of his time in the midfield. 7 score involvements, 8 contested possessions, 6 intercept possessions as well. That's a high number for a winger, I must say. He's finally starting to translate that VFL form into AFL form. So that's something we love to see. I'm going to give Ed Allen, and for his relative to his game, these ratings, right? For these ratings, it's never an objective rating out of 10. It's always relative to the player themselves. So for Ed Allen, for his game, that was an 8 out of 10, in my opinion. That was an 8 out of 10 for Ed Allen. Maybe 7.5. We'll go 7.5, okay? All right, let's do that. Benny comes in with another $2 donation. Thank you so much. He wants IQ and Frampton. So let's go with Isaac Quaynor. Let's go with Q. Isaac Quaynor had a game high, or at least a team high, 10 intercept possessions, 8 contested possessions, which most of them came in the form of ground ball gets, 4 score involvements, 1 contested mark. And he's finding the footy more. 23 touches. And yes, I don't know what his kicking efficiency is. And there are moments where, 23 touches, there are moments where he's a little off with his decision making or his execution, but he's taking steps towards, I guess, getting that stuff out of his game. How do you do that? You find the footy in game and you work on that live. It's not going to work out all the time, but the more he gets that footy, the more scenarios he's going to be in. He's going to be in that situation he was in 2 weeks ago in a couple weeks, and he's going to amend that initial mistake he made 2 weeks ago. And then what? I think he had 3 or 4 intercept marks, so he's bringing that back into his game. Some, a minority will say Dan Houston's not, he's a waste of trade capital or draft capital, and he's not playing to all Australian form. Well, you know what? Maybe offensively, yes. Defensively, I think he's been superb, but he's unleashing Isaac Quaynor and Josh Dacos because he takes the heat away from them. You know the MO for a lot of the defenders that go up against, or the forwards that go up against Dan Houston. They go, do not let him dissect the game with his kicking ability. And okay, do that. Tag Nick Dacos. Give Dan Houston a hard time in his back half. Hello, Isaac Quaynor. Hello, Harry Perryman. Hello, Josh Dacos. That's Quaynor's best game of the year. We did a video analysis on him during the week, showing the signs he was making some really positive steps, returning back to that 2023 form. Some of us may have thought, okay, maybe he won't find that form again. He might transcend that at some point. He also had 5 tackles. For Isaac Quaynor, that is an 8.5 out of 10 game for me. I can't lie. I cannot lie. What are we saying in the chat? Anyone have any qualms with that? No. Brilliant. Okay. So next up, let's go with Billy Frampton. My goodness. The apology form. The apology form is coming out tomorrow on Instagram. Starting with me. I'll be the first one to sign that form. The numbers aren't going to say much. But I'll read them out anyways. 5 intercept possessions. How many touches did he have? He had just 8 possessions. Nothing screams out. You watch his game, though. Effective spoils, 1%ers. Absolutely had the clamps on Nick Larkey all game long. And we know Nick Larkey, who he does not have a bad game, Nick Larkey. In a underwhelming side at the moment, or a young side we'll go with, he always seems to dish out 8, 9 out of 10s week on week. In a team where maybe they don't get so much opportunity going inside 50, Billy Frampton quelled him. And Darcy Moore tried to do that last year, didn't happen. Billy Frampton just did that. Billy Frampton is the form best defender in our team right now. Billy Frampton I don't know what it's going to take, but what does he need to become all Australian caliber? Maybe maybe the stats need to spring out a little bit more, but he's doing the 1%ers. I said in that video on Instagram the other day, he's second in the league for 1%ers. And I'm going to do an analysis on him this week, and I'm going to show you snippets of what he's done so well this year and directly compare that with what he wasn't doing well last year, because what he wasn't doing well last year, what he wasn't doing well in last year, he's excelling in this year. Tonight, the stats don't matter for Billy Frampton. It's an 8.5 out of 10. Cannot complain. Peter says he's become a rock, Frampton, even without Darcy Moore. Giga Chad says franchise. Love that. What else have we got? Anything else on Billy Goat? Rick says Billy was massive. Apparently Billy is now known as the franchise. I love that. Yeah, so 8.5 for mine. So we've done Ed Allen, we've done Ned Long, we've done Billy Frampton, we've done Quaynor. Who else do we want? While you guys are figuring out who you want, I'm going to go with Beau McCreary. 14 touches, 4 tackles, 3 clearances, 1 goal assist. Man, Every touch of his had purpose tonight. Good pressure, good looks going inside 50. Ben Zero says, I need a new punching bag. It used to be Billy Frampton, but we're playing so well, there are no punching bags at the Collingwood Football Club. Yeah, Bo's been superb. He's taking small steps towards where we want him to be. And that goes without saying. He's a great player, a great role player. I think he will grow out of the role play. He's spending more time in the midfield. You can't catch him in a centre bounce. You can't. He does that so well. I think for Bo, that's an 8 out of 10 for mine. 484 metres gained from 14 touches is a pretty good return, if you ask me. So 8 out of 10. And then we're going to go Harry Perryman. Harry Perryman had 18 touches, 5 tackles, 6 clearances, did a job in the midfield. And what are the advanced stats saying? He had a goal. That goal we all celebrated in that last quarter. What do you have? Pez, where are you, mate? What have you got for me? Four inside 50s, 5 scoring involvements, not the greatest there. But once again, for me, the stats just don't highlight the excellence in Harry Perriman's game right now. Versatile. I mean, Fly knew what he was bringing in, and he's just plugging holes wherever he needs to be. He'll be there, and just puts a goal or adds a goal to his name to be the cherry on top tonight. I'll give Pez a 7.5 out of 10. Once again, stats aren't going to be able to. They're not going to be able to substantiate my rating, but if you watch the game, and as most of us do, you'll see why I'm giving him at least a 7.5 out of 10. Is that 5? Have we done 5? Let's leave it at that. I'm really happy with that. Look, we can talk all night about every single player. I think the first half, it was dull. We were a bit too submissive, letting North Melbourne move the ball at will. We made some adjustments in game. You cannot underrate the fact that we made adjustments live and were able to overcome that first half slugfest, if you want to call it that. My 3-2-1, guys, get your 3-2-1 in. We'll do that. My 3-2-1, 3 votes Ned Long, 2 votes Nick Dacos, and the 1 vote, geez, who does that go to? Well, Jack Crisp was good in the second half. Ned Long 3, Nick Dacos 2, and Jamie Elliott 1. Yeah. And you could probably argue, does Jamie Elliott deserve more? 6 shots, 5 goals. You know what I mean? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the player ratings. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week.